what if the SEC just decides to up and leave? That has come up. That was brought up at Big Ten Media Days today. There are two sides to Greg Sankey. Greg Sankey is one of the most powerful figures in the sport. There are two sides. There's this side of Greg Sankey that's is threatening to leave. Now it's very loose. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is concrete. This is a very loose proposition of the SEC. They're saying, hey, we can just leave. We can just leave and create our own league. And there's the side of Greg Sankey that's very calculated in his approach, very smart in how he goes about things, very smart in about how he markets his conference, the Southeastern Conference. So Greg Sankey is viewed as a villain, I think, outside of SEC circles and sometimes within SEC circles. Greg Sankey can have a bad rap, but I really do think there are two sides to what Greg Sankey is saying here. Now, I'm going to go back to that side that I was talking about of Greg Sankey. Very calculated in his approach, very smart, is not going to do anything rash. If there are no concrete plans, if there's nothing set in stone on what this would look like, Greg Sankey's not going to do it. There has to be a plan. But when you have guys like Kirby Smart, the head coach at Georgia, who have been on the record multiple times of saying, hey, I've been talking about this for a while, it makes you wonder. I used to believe that this was just a scare tactic to scare the rest of the country. Like, hey, if you don't do what we want, we're just going to leave. I no longer think it's a scare tactic. I think it is very legit. I'm not going to pretend like I sit here and know how it works. I would not be a fan of it. I do think the SEC would get viewership if they were to create their own league, but it wouldn't be good for the overall health of college football. I'd also be interested to know if the SEC would work with the Big Ten, because part of the appeal of college football, at least part of the appeal to me, is those big-time non-conference matchups. Your Ohio State at Texas, week 2. Your Michigan hosting Oklahoma, also in week 2. Clemson and LSU in week 1. I know Clemson's not in the Big Ten, but you get the point. Part of the appeal of college football is those big-time non-conference games. If the SEC were to separate, it doesn't seem like they'd be doing that. So I wonder how much of what that viewership, what the ratings would look like if that were to happen, but there's no way to know.